Wow, Claressa Shields really is the GWOAT. Claressa Shields makes her MMA debut, wins by TKO over Elkin. We're going to talk about all that and more in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest. Listen, hit the subscribe button. I drop daily boxing content, also some MMA, like this video, Boxer Turned MMA. If you like this kind of thing, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let's jump into the video. Now, when Claressa Shields says she's the GWOAT, greatest woman of all time, she really means it. You know, a lot of people say various things, but at the end of the day, she's living up to her truest potential. She challenged herself and went and participated in an MMA bout, 3-rounder against a girl named Elkin. Now, you will see some of the shots, the screen caps from this. I can't show you the video for copyright reasons, of course, but you see Elkin she was actually pretty big. She was a little bit taller than Claressa Shields, which actually surprised me. So you got to give a lot of credit to Claressa Shields because this wasn't a small girl. And after having only a few months of training, I seen her working with John Jones and some of the best in MMA, like Holly Holm. She was in a fight much different than what she's used to, and there were some moments where she had to think and remain calm. Like you see in this frame right here, Elkin kept trying to take her down, and Claressa Shields had to use her strength and her skills to remain calm. Now, speaking of calmness, you see Claressa's back is in the octagon. Very impressive stuff. A lot of people aren't going to give it credit, but the level of composure, I know she's been to the Olympics twice and she's had big moments, but to see her in a sport that is not firsthand and maybe a second nature, and to see how calm she remained, I was very impressed with that. Her level of composure and dedication, like you could tell she really took this. One thing I noticed was her cardio. She was in dog shape and she was ready. She was ready because when you're wrestling and when you have somebody on top of you, like you see in a lot of these photos, for the first 2 rounds predominantly, that takes a lot of energy. That can siphon and zap your energy. So you see the girl, she fought Elkin, pretty big, broad shoulders. She was actually taller than Claressa Shields. And Claressa Shields, she held her own. She was down the first 2 rounds. I don't really think Elkin did much damage. She was just more or less taking Claressa down, constantly trying to take her down and, you know, trying to keep that dominant position and try to get her in the compromising chokeholds and positions. Claressa Shields, the most impressive in terms of like her takedown defense or more of the MMA skill would be when she was in a armbar for a few seconds or a few moments, which could be deadly. You know, this is a boxer primarily who makes her shekels through boxing, and to have an arm break because you didn't want to snap or, you know, tap or snap, that would be very bad. You know what I mean? MMA is a very brutal sport, just like boxing, but Claressa Shields, being so strong or whatever, she managed to get out of the armbar, and she knew she needed, it was only a 3-rounder. She knew she needed the final round, and her coaches remained calm and told her what to do. And she went out there, and I guess she has an alias, Clarenzo or something like that. She said she just had a whooper, and she told in the post-fight, she said, I just kept punching her. They're like, let her up. And she was like, hell nah. And she just kept wailing on her. This is the pictures that you're seeing on the screen. Just bump, pop, bop, 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 right after right. It was the same arm. So I know her right hand and her right arm was tired because she was just bombing on her. Bop, 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 bop. And every time you could tell Claressa Shields is primarily a boxer because every single time Claressa Shields punched her, the girl looked super uncomfortable, Elkin. And there's a video surfacing the internet where there was a would-be car thief who got caught in the act. And the guy who was in the barbershop or whatever came out and seen someone trying to steal his car. It is a video, you can look it up, and the guy's name was Jimmy Brown. And the guy crashes into the guy's car because he sees the guy and he tries to get away. and he makes a mistake and he crashes into something. And then the Jimmy Brown dude picked him up out of the car, snatched him out, punched him, drug him out his own car that he was trying to steal. And it looked just like this Claressa Shields fight in the 3rd round. Look it up. Jimmy Brown was just like, and that's exactly how this fight ended. Very impressed with Claressa Shields. Strong black woman. The mentality is different that she shows. To go to the Olympics and gold medal twice, that's something that even American males have never done. She is the only American with 2 gold medals. Yes, Cuba, Robisi Ramirez beat Shakur Stevenson. That was his 2nd, but he's from Cuba. Guillermo El Chicao Rigondao, he has 2 gold medals. He's from Cuba. Vasily Lomachenko of the Ukraine, he has 2 gold medals, right? But when it comes to Americans, the buck stops at Claressa Shields, male or female. No other, a lot of great people, Floyd, Roy, I do understand they were robbed in the Olympics, but even Andre Ward, he has 1 gold medal. Claressa has 2. So to see what she's accomplished in boxing, and then I don't know for a fact why she decided MMA, but I'm assuming they offered her a lot of money or more money. She wanted to test her skills, couldn't find the attention-seeking fights that she needed in boxing, and she wanted some respect. So she probably just said, let me give this a shot. Trained for a few months, and as you see on the screen, she came out with the victory. This fight for me was a little bit different. It was like really surreal and emotional for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really watched the fight, and like, I damn near felt like shedding a tear after when I seen her get the victory, because I just felt a particular type of way. For starters, the matchmaking I thought was a little bit, they said the girl was coming off some losses or lost some of her last 4 fights, but I thought the matchmaker was crazy. This girl looked in shape. The girl obviously had some kind of takedown judo wrestling background, and for a first timer in the MMA, that's a stylistic nightmare. That's a stylistic nightmare. You do not want to be a striker and then somebody who has lifelong experience with takedowns and wrestling and judo and keeping you on the mat and siphoning your energy. That's what you up against, especially as a boxer. So it was like a roller coaster ride to see this, because when I seen it, I was like, damn, this girl kind of big and she's just looking for the takedown. Why would you want to throw hands with the boxer? We seen that with Ray Mercer, a guy who knocked out Tommy Morrison. He converted and went over to MMA and he got a knockout. You don't want to really trade with somebody who specializes in hands. We know that. We know Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, boxing, we knew what the outcome was going to be, because boxing hands are different than MMA hands by and large, right? Very, very fun fight. I'm pretty sure this definitely boosted Claressa Shields' persona, her brand, her personality. I really would love to see her start commanding and getting more endorsements, bigger paychecks, whatever. She deserves it, man. Like, this is a young lady who is always daring to be great. She's doing stuff guys ain't even doing, for real. And to see her come from a deficit where there's adversity, where she's up against it, a girl who's bigger than her, coming to, because we all knew this was a crossover fight and Claressa Shields has a name in boxing, so who wouldn't want the scalp of Olympic gold medalist and illustrious boxer? But Claressa Shields is obviously a dog, and Claressa Shields is obviously strong, because from the armbar to being on the mat and keeping her composure, conditioning, keeping her breath in control. Could just imagine the adrenaline being in a sport that's foreign to you, and you keep that composure through it all and produce this, the Jimmy Brown 500 rights knockout. Now, speaking of the knockout, let me say this. You guys see the graphics. You see how graphic it was. The girl Elkin wanted no parts of the hands. And surprisingly, look at that shot. Go, Claressa. I was yelling at the TV and everything. So Elkin wanted no parts of the hand. None. Anytime standing or on the ground, she just shelled up and didn't know what to do. So surprisingly, Claressa Shields being a newbie, she actually did better facing her kryptonite than this girl, which was obviously them hands. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is the boxer's kryptonite would be the stylistic nightmare, and Claressa Shields remained calm during it. You know what I mean? And this girl's stylistic nightmare was obviously boxing hands and power punches. And look at how she reacted. You could see, look at, she's just wincing in pain and barely was even protecting herself. Now, I got to talk about that. You see how many shots I captured from this fight on PFL, ESPN Plus. I watched it, right? And the thing that was crazy is I thought it was a premature, I thought the stoppage was prolonged. It could have been stopped before that. There was so many unanswered strikes, and Claressa Shields just in the ref, look at him. He's just looking at her. So it was surprising to see people were asking and saying like, oh, was that a premature stoppage? I'm like, what is people talking about? Listen, I don't know what people watch, if they want to see a dead body or what, but she landed so many unanswered strikes, and the girl, this is her facial expression at the end of it. She had the nerve to act like she had an attitude when you got pummeled. You know what I'm saying? You came out looking all brolic. This was your sport and you got pummeled. So I know it has to be discouraging, disappointing, but look at her face. She look at Claressa Shields. Man, this was an emotional fight, but I thought the ref sucked. I thought the ref could have been stopped it. It's like he was like trying to let her recover or something. This is like Tyson Fury versus Wilder. Claressa Shields was pummeling her. Bop, bop, bop. You're defenseless. You're just getting hit. You got to do something. And for whatever reason, the ref watched it from this close proximity and close range and thought that this was needed to continue. And she had like a million unanswered punches. So very, very good win. Claressa Shields is obviously game. She's game bred for this. She's a true fighter at heart. She tried something. She took a risk, just like she does in boxing. In boxing, she has become undisputed. She fought Christina Hammer, who's taller than her and had a good jab. She's went down in weight because she needed to challenge herself, and the bigger paychecks and the bigger names and the bigger accolades so she did the reverse. As she's gotten older, she actually got a nutritionist or whatever she needed to do to cut weight. That's hard to do. But these are the great lengths that Claressa Shields is willing to go through in order to be great. So I tip my hat off to Claressa Shields. She said she was away from her family, away from her boyfriend, and that's the reality of, being a fighter. But she clearly took this serious. As you can see, she got the TKO stoppage. Now, I got to talk about the racists in old media, because you seen this young black queen, Claressa Shields, go into someone else's sport and get a TKO knockout after facing adversity, right? And again, I seen people hating online, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy to see and to think that Jermell Charlo says race don't matter, skills pay the bills. You know what I mean? That I told you that was untrue. The level of hate and contempt that Claressa Shields got from mollywopping this chick, that the racists don't even know who she was. They don't even know who this chick was. She looking like Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the. She looking like Anthony Kiedis, and the racist was mad, saying, "Oh, Claressa Shields, she doesn't have enough skill. It is her first fight. What are we talking about?" So I did post this. This be the realest stuff I ever wrote. Against all odds. I said the level of stupidity online is astonishing. People are being very critical of Claressa Shields in her second sport, MMA debut. The girl wasn't doing too much when she was on top of her on the ground. She was just laying on her. So that's back to what I was saying in my breakdown. The Elkin girl, she was just laying on top of her. She wasn't landing like crazy shots. And then she tried for an armbar, and Claressa Shields got out of it. And I said, too, did you think Claressa Shields was going to come out like Bruce Lee or Jorge Masvidal with a flying knee? You effing idiots. Like, people, this is what I hate about the internet, man. Everybody's a critic. Everybody's an expert. People are acting like Claressa Shields was supposed to do like Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren. Somebody's doing backyard fights and been fighting MMA for a while. This is her first fight, and you've seen her up against a stylistic kryptonite, and you've seen she got through it, you know. And just to see this imagery, the racists didn't like it. I seen people saying it was a premature stop. Look at these shots. They were saying it's a premature stop. Look, bow, 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 bow. You can make a slideshow with this, saying it's a premature stop. The girl was doing nothing and clearly didn't like that work. People were saying it was a premature stoppage. Some people said that it was a fixed fight because Claressa Shields got out of the armbar. I'm like, man, they hating that bad? That's crazy. Former ESPN writer Dan Rayfield says, congrats to Claressa Shields for crossing over to MMA and winning impressively. I thought that was a fair comment. That's my sentiments exactly too. And then this guy says, impressive, the fight looked fixed. I told you, this is what it is to be a black fighter in America. People saying the fight was fixed because it didn't go their way. A lot of poor sportsmanship, and the old media racists have to really truly be going through it. Because first Logan Paul, you know, if we're scoring, really lost to Floyd Mayweather. And then a week later, Claressa Shields crosses over to MMA and bounces back. When you think her back is against the wall, she shows you who she is and gets a TKO stoppage. So, you know, the racists, the sports racists, it's like they just lurk around waiting for these moments and then try to antagonize them. So to me, I don't want to make this video too negative. Shout out to Claressa Shields. She's doing stuff that men aren't doing. Hopefully she is properly compensated. She took all the risk. I do think she can definitely get better in the MMA arena with practice. She just has to keep at it. But I see a lot of potential, and those hands are clearly lethal, and she has the heart for it. That's most important. You can't train or teach heart. You can't go to Amazon Prime and get heart. So she's clearly a dog. Flint, Michigan, y'all got one. You know, 2-time gold medalist, undisputed in boxing, undefeated in boxing, moved down in weight in boxing, potentially giving other girls an advantage, coming in stupid cardio, always in shape, taking the risk, moving and relocating, crossing over to a different sport. This is a badass chick, y'all. This is the GWOAT, you know, and I'm a big fan of Ann Wolfe too, but when you look at all of the accomplishments and how she's doing it, I mean, what boxer, and you could say maybe boxers get paid more, the men get paid more, so maybe they don't have to, but still, I mean, you don't really see many boxers doing this unless they're washed up or something, and then they're trying bare knuckle or trying MMA, things like that. But Claressa, she's in a league of her own. GWOAT. Very impressed, very emotional, very happy for her. She's a good soul from what I know. And it was impressive to see that she battled everything, battled her nerves, and crossed over successfully. She 1-0, undefeated in 2 sports. Amazing. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. That's my breakdown. I wanted to give you the Boxingego complete breakdown. Use my link in the description to get TUBEBUDDY. It's an awesome way to make money on this YouTube platform like yours truly. I've been using it for years. You too can use TUBEBUDDY to optimize your videos like these so they pull up in search and you have a better chance of winning. Use my link for TUBEBUDDY, ESPN Plus. Shout out to the GWOAT, Claressa Shields, 2021, some of the shining stars. And she got knockout of the night. We working.